What's going on, everybody? Jay Howe here from Tiger Matrix to discuss the Oculus Rift announcement that was today that brought us all kinds of good news, including, hey, what it looks like. Now, there's a lot to go over, but we're going to hit the key points, and you can check out the article as well for stuff that goes into more detail. Now, what we have to look forward to sounds incredible. Now, they had already talked about some of the specs over the last few weeks and things that we can kind of expect. Namely the dual OLED screens, the OLED screens, which are the curved ones, which is going to make things a lot cleaner. They talked about the resolution being a lot higher. When you're looking around, you're not going to see pixels and stuff like that. Right now, if you have the DK2, you know that there is some distortion, I guess, as you get to the end of the lenses. That should be going away with this, which is pretty exciting. So that's one major thing to look forward to as far as the Oculus Rift itself. It's a much sleeker version to expect. It's cleaner. It looks a lot like what we would expect. They talked about the updated constellation mapping as far as the tracking part of it. So that'll be cool as far as how well it's going to track. Speaking of tracking, the device that they're going to be using to track is a very clean, sleek, and professional looking tracking device. I'll go ahead and show the image so you guys can see what that looks like. It's very nice looking, very clean, something you can put on your desk and feel proud of that it's there without it looking clunky or like the current version where it almost looks like a second webcam on top of your monitor, if that's where you placed it. So the tracking there. Other cool things that you got to look forward to. Audio. Now 360 audio is already included with some of the demos and games that are out there. So namely, if you turn your head, the audio is going to follow you, and that's really something good that they're incorporating within the device itself, which they're adding on their own earphones. And they go on the side, which the best part about it is they know that they're probably not going to be the best quality headphones out there. So they made them removable, which is incredible because they just snap right off. The demo looked amazing as far as how they were utilizing them. So that's something to get excited about there so that you don't have to go out, you don't have to worry about putting on your own headphones. And they seem to just kind of attach to the side and hang just over the ear. So it looks really nice as far as how that's going to go. So definitely something to look forward to there. Now, other things that you can look forward to as well. Ergonomics was one of the big things that they harped on as far as how it fit on your head and how it was going to be adjustable to fit your head. Because currently right now, it's basically a strap that just kind of pulls everything to your face. Now, it's going to be apparently a much more comfortable feel. Now, I've been playing with the DK2 for quite some time, and it feels very comfortable for me. So I can only imagine that that's just going to allow me to play longer, which probably isn't a good thing. The other part there is, as far as the ergonomics go, the eye width. Now, eye depth was something that's currently on the DK2 with its own little dial. The eye width is something that is, important because where somebody might have wide set eyes, the other person might have closer set eyes, it allows you to adjust the distance between the lenses and it allows it to fit perfectly in front of your own eyes. So unless you have one eye over here and one eye way over here, you're going to be okay. So that's something really cool to look forward to. Now, they had a big surprise announcement. I'm not sure if anybody really expected this, but at the end, Palmer Luckey himself came out and they talked about basic controls. Now, I'll get into the actual controller part here in a second, but the controls itself is something really cool. It allows you to go, you can put one on each hand, and that way you can control different stuff. It's almost like having hands within the game. There was 2 buttons and analog joysticks on each of them, and they also have their own tracking. So it's going to be able to keep track of your hands and stuff like that, which is absolutely incredible. How well that will function early on is to be seen. They talked about it being early on in the phase as far as how they're going to be able to incorporate everything, but obviously they wouldn't have announced it if they didn't feel comfortable with it. I'm sure some fine tuning over the next 6, 7, 8 months is really going to bring that on par with a lot of other stuff. Speaking of the controls, they understood that you have to have a gamepad of some sort. Most people aren't necessarily comfortable with the mouse and keyboard while being blinded from the mouse and keyboard, but what they know that people are familiar with is a game controller. They've partnered with Microsoft, Xbox in particular, And now, when you order the Oculus Rift, it's actually going to come with an Xbox One controller, which is huge news. They're not cheap, so we'll see what the final price is like when the Oculus actually ships. But it's going to be compatible with your Oculus Rift, which is a phenomenal thing for most players. They brought in the head of Xbox, and he was able to shine a little bit of light as far as games. They did a really quick demo to where you're basically sitting in your own movie theater, home movie theater, I should say, and they were showing off games that they were playing on the Xbox controller while wearing the Oculus Rift, which brings up the other really cool announcement. Microsoft Windows 10 is working so that with the Xbox One, you're able to play your games on your computer. Now, they went ahead and extended that to the Oculus Rift so that you can play your Xbox One games on the Oculus Rift. Not necessarily in the 3D mode, at least not yet, but you are going to be able to play them in a comfortable and fun setting. The demo looked really cool, albeit it was really short. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of footage next week at E3, so be sure and check back for more updates there. But it's something to get really excited about. So that's a lot of the key points so far with the Oculus Rift announcement. Today was their big day. They've been leading up to it over the past month in terms of announcements, specifications, requirements, all that different stuff. And now they've pretty much unpackaged it and said, here guys, this is what we're giving you. And I'm sure there's probably going to be more announcements over the coming months, especially right around pre-order time, which they said was somewhere around November. So something to get excited about with the release today. Next week is going to be a huge week, like I said, at E3 for them to be able to reveal more information perhaps, or at least just allow people to get hands-on and just kind of speak for themselves as far as, hey, this is just how awesome it is. Some of the game demos that they had out there looked incredible, and I cannot wait until this comes out. It's one of those things I'll be anticipating all year long, and hopefully you guys are too. That wraps up this discussion for the Oculus Rift. If you want to be around for more tech information or gaming, entertainment, and other reviews, be sure and subscribe to Tiger Matrix, as well as check us out at tigermatrix.com and over on Twitter at TheTigerMatrix. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.